the political scene in Britain just got a whole lot messier. Rachel Reeves, Labour's Chancellor, has made an explosive admission that's left the public fuming. Just a few months ago, Reeves was confidently assuring voters that Labour had no plans to increase taxes. In a statement made on June 11th, she declared, "We don't need higher taxes. What we need is growth." But now, Reeves has stunned everyone by raising the tax burden by a staggering £40 billion, making it the largest tax hike since 1993. So, what happened to all those promises? Let's check it out.
Now, you specifically said you already knew everything you needed to know, yet on Wednesday you raised taxes by £40 billion. Why would a reasonable person believe a single word that you say in the next 15 minutes and that you'll stick to it?
I was wrong on the 11th of June. I didn't know everything, because when I arrived at the Treasury on the 5th of July, so just under a month after I said those words, I was taken into a room by the senior officials at the Treasury, and they set out the huge black hole in the public finances beyond which anybody knew about at the time of the general election, because the previous government hid it from the country, they hid it from Parliament, and indeed they hid it from the official independent forecast of the Office of Budget Responsibility. And so when I went into that budget last week, I had to put our public finances back on a firm trajectory, because we saw in the previous Parliament what happens when government loses control of the public finances. And the first commitment we made in our manifesto was to bring stability back to the economy, and that's what I did on Wednesday.
Fast forward to her recent interview on Sunday morning with Trevor Phillips, and Reeves's stance has done a complete 180. In a stunning moment of backtracking, Reeves admitted, "I was wrong on the 11th of June. I didn't know everything." She claims that when she entered the Treasury in July, senior officials revealed a hidden black hole of £22 billion in public finances, allegedly concealed by the previous government. Reeves argues that she had no choice but to act, but the math has left viewers baffled. Why would a £22 billion shortfall lead to a £40 billion tax increase? Was this massive hike really necessary, or is Labour using the financial shortfall as an excuse for pushing through a heavy-handed tax agenda? This unexpected U-turn has left Reeves struggling to regain the public's trust, with many questioning Labour's commitment to protecting working families. And as if the controversy around her tax hike wasn't enough, the Labour Party is now facing attacks from all sides. As Labour scrambles to defend Reeves's actions, the Conservative Party is dealing with its own internal crisis. Following a razor-thin victory in the Tory leadership contest, Kemi Badenoch has taken the top spot over Robert Jenrick, but the election has revealed a Conservative Party in disarray. Membership turnout hit an all-time low, with only 72.8% of eligible members casting their votes, marking the smallest margin of victory in Tory leadership history. Even more concerning, Conservative membership has shrunk by nearly a quarter since 2022, with over 35,000 members choosing not to vote at all. This leadership drama has provided a prime opening for Reform UK, and Nigel Farage isn't wasting any time. Sensing an opportunity, Farage has made an open call to dissatisfied Conservative members, particularly Jenrick's supporters, to join Reform UK if they're frustrated with the Tory party's current direction. He's hammering home the point that under Badenoch's leadership, the Conservatives remain committed to the European Court of Human Rights, ECHR, a policy Farage claims will prevent any real reform on immigration. In a recent rallying cry, he put it bluntly, "They will never, ever stop the boats." Farage's appeal to Conservative voters who feel abandoned by their own party is resonating. With 80,000 members and growing, Reform UK has become a powerful voice for voters who feel left out of the mainstream. And with the Conservative Party losing nearly 24% of its membership since the last election, Reform UK's momentum is becoming a real threat to both major parties. As Farage rallies his base, calling on Tories to defect, Badenoch's mandate is looking shakier by the day. Adding fuel to the fire, Camilla Tominey recently grilled Labour MP James Murray in a tense interview on GB News. Labour's budget, which Reeves insists is a necessary correction, includes a series of tax hikes that have left working families and business owners up in arms. The Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR, has revealed that 60% of the tax increase will fall on working people, an alarming statistic that directly contradicts Labour's pledge not to raise taxes for ordinary Britons. Murray defended the budget, claiming that the tax hikes primarily affect employers rather than individuals. But Tominey wasn't having it. She bluntly accused Labour of betraying its own promises, pointing out that if the OBR says 60% of the new tax costs are being passed on to working people, Labour's budget is hitting them hard, whether directly or indirectly. If the OBR is saying that 60% of these costs are being passed on to working people, please don't insult the audience by pretending they're unaffected, she fired back. Her challenge left Murray scrambling to defend Labour's decision. Despite his attempts to redirect the blame onto the previous government's financial mismanagement, the damage to Labour's credibility was done. Even Reeves's own words have come back to haunt her. In 2021, she herself criticised a similar tax proposal as a jobs tax that took money out of people's pockets. The public is left wondering, if Labour was so adamant about avoiding tax hikes for working people, why has that stance suddenly shifted? Rachel Reeves's tax reversal and the internal strife within the Conservative Party are sparking deep concerns among voters who feel increasingly disconnected from the two main parties. Labour's shift towards tax-heavy policies is angering their working-class base, and Reeves's credibility has taken a significant hit. The very voters Labour claimed to protect are now questioning whether the party ever intended to keep its word. Meanwhile, the Conservatives, under Badenoch's shaky leadership, are fighting to keep their own members from defecting to Reform UK, a party that's tapping into voter frustration with remarkable success. The rise of Reform UK under Farage's leadership is changing the game. What started as a fringe movement has grown into a legitimate force, representing an anti-establishment base that's tired of traditional politics. For the first time in years, Reform UK is posing a credible threat to both Labour and the Conservatives, making this a defining moment for British politics. Voters are questioning who they can trust, and Reform UK's promise to put British interests first is resonating with a public hungry for change. The stakes are high, with Labour's tax scandal fueling public discontent and the Conservative Party grappling with an identity crisis. Both parties face the very real possibility of losing their grip on their core supporters. British politics is entering uncharted territory, and it's clear that the traditional lines of loyalty are shifting. Don't go anywhere. If you want to keep up with every twist in this unfolding political drama, hit subscribe, give us a like, and stay tuned. We're following every angle on this scandal and bringing you the latest from Westminster.